Okay, what's going on, guys? We're a little late here, 2 minutes late. It's all right. I'm Jay, welcome to smarthelping.com live streaming. We're going to continue on to the sports agent model. We got some nice logic to do in the matrix. We're going to scale some fun stuff here. We built the concept yesterday on stream. Uh, this model will be included in the Smart Helping industry specific bundle when it's completed. It'll probably be a $45 template once I list it as well. And remember, you can check out all kind of financial models, templates, and tools I've built over the past 7 years on smarthelping.com. Financial models tab at the top shows you everything that I've done. And you can buy all the spreadsheets on smarthelping.com for $9.99, and that's lifetime access. And uh, anything I ever build in the future, you'll also have access to. Okay, let's post this to Twitter. Let's post this. And just a interesting note, the sports agency model was a suggestion from a viewer on the stream a couple months ago, and I got caught up on everything, and so that was my next in the queue. So if you do suggest things, I will probably build it if it's reasonable, but it might take a while. Okay, so for this, we're going to try and get this monthly detail added. What we have done so far is we have this row in the monthly detail that says the athletes added to the agency per month, which is based on this logic here, the starting count and the percentage increase in new athletes added per month based on the starting count. So you start with 2, next month we're adding 0.25% more, and so on. We will have some sanity checks here to show you at the year end how many athletes there are and how many you're adding per month at the end of each year to help with this. And no, these could go positive, they could go negative. Uh, this is just a way to define added per month. And if you really wanted to, you could manually define this row if you don't want to do it with an assumption layout. You can manually put in per month what you expect to have. Now, what we're going to do is use this feed here and create, we've got a really, really cool, so we have this column called percentage of base adjuster, and this is going to tell you how the annual contract value of an athlete over time relative to the base amount. And you can have different amounts in each year if you plan to scale up the athlete uh, that you have or change the configurations. Um, but this 500,000, you can say, well, athletes added in year one in month one, the first 12 months of their tenure with your agency, you could put in, it's probably going to be 100% as the base. And then they might go up over time, up, and then follow like a downtrend and then go to zero. And then you've also got a separate adjuster for endorsements because those could possibly go longer than the career goes for the athlete as far as their playing career might be over, but they could still do endorsements. So this is a very nice way to forecast curves of because the agency is going to make money on the commissions that are relative to the athlete's earnings. So we can adjust that over time. So this is really, really cool. Uh, so to do this, we had to put in this logic for added per month, and then now we start with our matrix. So the first thing we do is um, added per month, and this is a 10-year model, so we have to go over 120 and down 120. And we're going to do 3 potential um, or athlete types, and those they'll all have their own configurations here. And the reason why I did that is because you might want to focus, the agency might have some athletes at a certain level, other athletes at a different level, and different counts and different commissions and all kinds of things. So, we can't just show, 15 different matrix schedules if you for say you're a smaller agency or like 5 or 6 different ones all unique. So instead I'm doing 3 different types, but those types can scale to any number of athletes. Okay. Uh, so all I'm going to do here is say if um, let me think here. This logic is always tricky to start. We'll call this type 1. So I want to dynamically reference this and pull the amount in the appropriate month. I believe I can just say if this equals this, then pull the amount added. So B4 we lock, C2 we lock, so it can't go down, and that's locked down, so we can just drag it. Now in theory, so no, these are cohorts. So what we're going to want to do is project, okay, the athlete added in a given month, the monthly cohort going down here. We want to show what those economics look like over time, and then we can aggregate each column to get the actual monthly totals. And let's clean up the formatting on this. We can do here. Perfect. And then I do want a decimal just to show. And note, decimals are completely fine with financial forecast. It just represents a probability of something happening, and the economic value is based on that probability. So it's more accurate than trying to do rounding and whole numbers. Even though obviously you can't add a half, but over time you're representing a more accurate value based on the assumptions. Okay, so we have the amount added per month. And then we want to know the age or tenure. So here we could put tenure count. And this is so we can dynamically reference what month we are in to figure out these two, apply these two assumption columns. So I say if we are greater than 0, then 1, otherwise 0. And we'll format this as well. Okay. And then we wrap that in the second column, and then we can drag it over the rest of it. We just say if C126 is greater than 0, then C126 plus 1. Very valuable logic here. I've used this in all kinds of things, but this is how to dynamically count cohorts. And this is the reason why you want to know this is you want to know the age, how long in this case, an athlete has been a client for, because their economic value is based on that. Okay, tenure count. What else do we need? Well, I guess if we have that, we can say let's think here. Let's just do, let's see if this works. Let's do monthly. Oh no, we need to do year onboarded and simply say if, how do we want to do this? This is greater than 0, then give me the year. because I need to know when. You need to know the timing on that. Okay, and we just simply say if C248 is greater than 0, then C248. So we just get this running count. Perfect. So we know what year. Yep, perfect, perfect. Okay. So there's, now if we want to calculate salary value per month, we simply go equals max of this, whatever's in the column, times just the athlete count times, no, not times. Oh wait, no, yes. Times index, pull the year or the annual athlete contract value here, match that with the year, which will be here. This. So that's the value. But we also need to divide whatever that is by 12 because this is monthly and that's showing the annual. And then we also need to go times and do a VLOOKUP. And we need to look up the age or tenure. Oh, yeah, comma. And to get this. And if you really wanted to get fancy, you could do different tenure schedules for each year. Like everyone joined in year one has this kind of schedule. People join in just year two have a different one, but that's getting kind of crazy on the granularity side. I don't think that's necessary. All right, we need to lock some of these. Never want to reference the tab name in a reference that's in the workbook you're making the formula in. Need to lock this. Okay, I think that'll do it. Let's see. So in theory, let's just put for cohort one, let's just put 1, just so we can do some easy math to check the formulas. So now when I go down here, this doesn't need to be have decimals. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, perfect, 500,000. Then in year two, we're saying the value is going up to 550, which is based on now we're doing 110%. Or if you went down, maybe 90%. And these don't have to be rounded years like you do dynamically there. And look, you've got, now year two's kind of down 90%, then up or whatever. You could define whatever makes the most sense for your research and data about the contract values of athletes over time relative to some starting base. Okay, so there we go. And then if we had two athletes here, all the numbers simply double for month one's cohort. You see now in year one, you're at 1 million in value. Year two, we're at 1.1, which is 10% more. And then this will go, and you can see for cohort two, we have a couple more added. We're saying 2. Oh, some decimal lower, 2.005. And so on. So we can drag this all the way up and down. Okay, cool. So there's revenue. We sum that up. Now, since the commissions are global, let's make this a little bit wider. We can just define, well, I'll show you here. We'll see what we can do. I actually don't know if it's relevant to show the current existing athletes because you're going to have some, like, we have no way to count how many are finished with their playing career salaries, but still going on here, and it's just going to be confusing. So we can have the added athletes per month for type 1, which is fine. And then what we would have is, well, no, we could have active. We could just count if this is greater than 0, and that's your current act. Well, no, because then we have to multiply that by the count added per month. That wouldn't work. Okay, so let's say we have this. We have total value of athlete playing athlete playing contract. Okay, now that we simply reference this number here, and that would change if, let's say we started in February 2023. You can see now we're starting in Feb. So numbers, it's all dynamic. And then when we talk about the commissions the agency earned on this, you simply say agency commissions. And it's simply the total value there times, we'll use index formula, whatever the commission is for the year. And now this percentage is not just applying to the cohort of the year it's added. This is in aggregate. So if the commissions change, that's going to change for all the athletes. So here, match that with this. Let me make sure E2 was the right one. Yep. Okay. So this is revenue. Based on those commissions. Now, if you're smaller, you can say maybe you start with a 1. And you don't expect to add another one for, say, 20 months. So 1 over 20, whoops, would be, well, I don't know how you would assume, well, you need to double the amount of periods it takes to double something. Let me think. So to go from 1 to 2 compounded, I can't even remember. Let's say in 1 year, I think it's, what is it? Ending value minus beginning value raised to the 1 over 12 minus 1. No, Maybe it's other way around, 1 minus 2. Or divided by... I don't think that's the number. I'm just curious here real quick. So if I add this amount, does it compound to double in 12 months? No, I don't think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No. What is the formula? I want to get the compounding average growth rate of between two amounts over 12 periods. Actually, that wouldn't even be relevant anyway, because we're 1. If I want to get to a total of 2, I mean, you'd have to add less than 1 every month. Otherwise, you'd have 2 in 2 months. Like if you just did 0% here, you're adding 1 per month. I'm trying to figure out how to get this if we did negative. Let me do a negative. That might actually make sense. Negative 10%, that means I add 1, then I add 0.9, 0.87, and by the end of the year I still have 6. The reason I'm doing this is I'm thinking about if somebody was using this, I want them to think about, I want this to work well. And starting with a 1, maybe we start with like 0.2. And then what do we have over time? In the first year, you've got 2. Yeah, okay, that works. So you just start with a lower amount. You're saying in the first year, my goal is to get to 2 representing 2 athletes. Well, you don't know when those athletes might start, but this tells you a probability of if they do, well, at the end of 12 months, you're going to have 2, and this is the economic value therein. There's also going to be costs and variable costs, fixed costs, all kinds of stuff we'll have to implement, but right now we're focused on getting the revenue done right. All right, so this is fine. Agency commissions. I kind of want to show active athletes player contracts. Because this could affect the variable costs. So your variable cost as an agency might go down if the athlete is no longer under contract, but they're just doing endorsements. If they're still a player, your cost might be higher. You might be spending more per athlete. So how would we do this? Let's see. So we can do maybe how the heck would this work? So here we have active would be count. Well, here we'd have to do a full another matrix. Didn't want to do another one of these, but we're gonna have to. So active player contracts. And that's simply gonna be a formula if this is greater than 0, then give me the total added for that cohort. is this going so slow? 8, 9, 10, DR. Okay, now if we do this, and then the total active would be this. Notice how we get to 2 by the end of 2.2, which makes sense. Okay, so let's drag this all the way over. Now here's where things get interesting. So we drag this down. And now, so active, this is saying for this one, we're active all the way until month 74, which in the case, let's start so we can see. Let's just start this on the very first month so it's easy to check. Um, so month 72 is the last they're active for player contracts, and you can see there month 72 is the last one here. So that's working, and so on. And if you aggregate this total, you can get the active player contracts that exist over time based on all of this stuff. And that's important for, I think that's going to be important for a lot of things. So let's reference that in here. Now, if your players on average based on the data and research and your target is if their contract lengths are a lot less, like a couple years, then you'd see different numbers. And you would change how this percentage is working. Maybe they get 100% for the first 12 months on average, and then second year maybe it's 150, third year maybe it's 70, and then that's it. And then 0. So it just depends, but this is good. So this you can see, since we're continually increasing the amount we're adding per month, the total existing contracts will slightly go up over time to 17.8 over 10 years. And there's no right or wrong answer for this. It's just what you feel comfortable with, what kind of work you feel like doing, what your whole strategy is as an agent. There's all kinds of factors that go into this, but you can adjust the configure revenue assumptions based on what you want to do. Okay, so that's perfect. Let's give this a space and so athlete getting paid and what they're paying their agent or the agency. What else do we need here? Oh, so endorsements. So now we want to do similar logic, but we're going to reference this, and then we're going to reference this column E instead of D. So let's go up here. Salary value. This is going to be endorsements. So same logic. Except this is going, wait, what are we doing here? Oh, age, so this has got to be going up. Okay. And then max of that has to be 4. So basically we're off by 244 rows, which is okay. So this is 4. That's fine. And then, so this is matching So for 12, we don't want 12 now, we want row 15. Okay. Against the year, let me make sure that's right. 248 divided by 12, and then you're going to VLOOKUP the tenure, which is not 370. It's this number. And then also we're not doing C to D, we're doing C to E. So change this to 3. So you can see the total annual value of the endorsements here is 30,000. Let's put this back to 1 so the number makes more sense to us just to check. So at 1 it'd be 150. 1, okay, good. So we're getting the amount there. Let's drag this all the way over for 10 years. Now this is saying there's no end to the endorsements over the full 10-year period. So once they start, they just continue earning at least for 10 years, but realistically that's probably, maybe it goes down to 80, 60 for a while, 30, and then maybe 0. And now you have the same idea for active player contracts, but we have active endorsement contracts. So how many players are currently having endorsements? And that will be the main reason we're doing this is to figure out variable costs based on the count of active endorsement contracts and player contracts. Now this again, we'd have to do, reference that if it's greater than 0, but then we want a not 248, we want to start in row 4. And go over and drag this down. Okay. You see this number gets a lot higher for active endorsements because the 10-year length of getting endorsements is much longer. We're saying all the way to 112 months in this case. Again, it's arbitrary. These numbers I'm just making up, but you should research and figure this data out. And for salary, we're only going to 72 months. So if they last longer, you're adding the same amount, that's going to be bigger. We have this. So we kind of want to do this same format. Agency commissions on contracts, and then this is on endorsements. So here, this is going to be equal to that. Now, why is this? Something looks odd here. We'll look at this in a second. Because this, oh wait, no, that's right. I was looking at the wrong number. So it should be basically mirroring this, but then when you get out to past 72, it's going to start being more. Okay. And then the value of that is just going to be equal to all of this. Let me double check this. So this is 15, that, yeah, that's right. Okay, perfect. So we have this, and then the commission is similar formula, but we reference the amount here, and then instead of 13, we take 16. Okay, now we have modeled agency revenue for athlete type 1. Total revenue type 1. And that's just these two. Now, when I do matrix 2 and 3, it'll be the same exact logic, but a little bit easier because I already have it built. I just need to adjust references. This looks good. We're going to copy this down for type 2 and 3. Now what you're defining as a type 1 athlete, type 2, that's just up to you and however you want to do it. And you might only want to model 1, and that's fine. You can just zero out the other sections if so. Let's give this a thick bottom border. Okay. Pretty good, pretty good. We could put years in here as well. Format this. All right. I think I will do some text in here that references the name. We could put this sideways. Whoop, not like that. No, other way, other way. Let me just format it. Want it like this. All right. Actually, do we want to make this a little bit of an angle, maybe? It's kind of nice so you can read it a little bit easier. Okay, cool. Type 1 athletes. Here's all the economics. Here's how much revenue you make over time as an agency. We do need to put in variable cost, fixed costs, and add type 2 and type 3 logic. But you can see the basic understanding of this. I think this is pretty good. Any sports agent that's looking to create their financial plan, this template is going to be very useful. Okay, well, that's all I got for today. Hope everyone enjoyed the stream. You can check out more financial models, templates, tools at smarthelping.com. Like I said, this model, once done, the sports agent model will be added to the industry specific bundle. Probably just a $45 template. And I'll see you guys on the next